So you guys have decided that the Ultimate Insane Demon's next victim will be my personal favorite Insane Demon, Firewall by Hinds. So let's see what I made and how I made it. So we are back with the Ultimate Insane Demon for the 7th time now. Now, I haven't done that many changes off camera. The main changes that I've done is to the supersonic part. Yeah, this like second half of the supersonic part has gone pretty huge overhaul, as I wasn't really that happy with the first version. A very good thing that I've done as well is that I've done a lot of optimization to this. The level went from being like 45,000 objects to just 34,000. But yeah, I've placed a teleport portal, or have I? I haven't, in fact. I thought I placed a teleport portal here. Well, I'm gonna place a teleport portal right here. Same as when I remade Crimson Clutter, I had to tweak the transition into this part, as it's a very sudden transition, but luckily I managed to make it work pretty well. So it'll be some like very simple wave gameplay, but I'll also try to make it a little bit sync to the song. I need to figure out a good playtest line, like a pretty good playtest line. I'll just make this structure right here, as I feel like that's pretty good to start off with. For the gameplay, I did something kind of similar to flow gameplay, where I used a lot of different portals and game modes, and while it might be a little bit clunky and the transitions aren't really the greatest, I still like how it turned out in the end. So for what I'll do first, I'll make it so it'll be mini wave for a little bit longer, have it so that it's one very long click. And then right here, I think is a good place for you to turn into a ball. You can also go into like upside down and normal size. Have it so that there's like a pretty long platform right here that'll extend all the way to the top. I want to do something that's both pretty satisfying and also pretty consistent. I want to put like a slope here, maybe like this, just to make the transition better. Yeah. I feel like that's probably a little bit too high CPS, so maybe I'll just put a pad here instead. Actually, I'll make it so that you start off as a mini, and then as the part goes, you turn into big. This ship gameplay wasn't really that interesting, as it was just weaving through some saw blades, but it's very reminiscent to Firewall, so that's the good thing about it. And that's pretty much what I also felt with some of the other gameplay in this part. So I'll have it so that the normal size portal is right here, so you have to jump before you hit it. Let's also make it so you turn into slower speed. Then I'll have a platform that's a little bit higher up. And just for every single jump that you do, you get slower and slower. So maybe I can have like a triple spike here. But I'm to make it like half spaced, unfortunately. Actually, maybe I can make it so that like, have it so that when you jump here, get slower and slower. So I can have like a triple spike right here that's a little bit elongated. And I ended the part with some nice and simple straight fly, which is a little bit nerfed. And now that we're finished with the gameplay, let's begin with the decoration. So I'll begin by setting the colors, obviously. Let's make the background begin as like a pretty dark, desaturated pink-ish color, and darker, obviously. Then I obviously need to make the object color white again. For the decoration, I'll just begin by adding some outlines. And then here, I'll add like the metallic 1.6 blocks. Now I want to have them be a little bit different, so I can begin with the base, which can be on like layer 2. So let's say I'll begin by doing something similar to what I would do if I was making a 9 circles type thing. Then on layer 3, I'll add some like slope glow to this. Like that, yeah. Does look a little bit strange, and to fix that, I'm gonna go on layer 4 and add black inner outlines. Like that, yeah. On layer 5, I'll begin with the like secondary base, which will also have some more saturation. Maybe have like -20 hue. Nah, I don't like it. I guess I can just like extend this base to be used for the normal objects. For some reason, this was the part that I struggled the most on for the block design, which is strange as Firewall is the closest out of any other level I've remade to the style that I make the levels in. I don't really know what to add on the inside then. Maybe I'll just like add a pretty huge structure, then have it so that it'll use the metallic objects, but maybe they can just be like object colored this time. Have it so that I'll give them some glow on the side and some glow on the top. I'm not the hugest fan of the like pinkish color to this, so maybe I'll make it a more cherry color. I'll try to add some black inner outlines to this, and hopefully that'll be better. I then made the block feel more crystallized by using the same trick as I did in episode 4 of the 9 circles level. I'll just use like these objects, like the crystallized objects, and then put them like this. Maybe make them blending, but be one. Now I kind of want to extend this structure to be a little bit taller. This maybe, and then use these edges as well. What if I use like these objects, have the base be like half opacity black and the detail be background blending, and just these on the metallic objects? I mean, this could maybe work. What if I make the object color copy the background color, but we like way less saturation and way more brightness? After adding some more pretty nonchalant details, I began with 3D for the block, which I surprisingly managed to do pretty well. Well, I've had some like 3D to this, so I can use like these objects for the 3D, color one with half opacity, and also the hue. Then on layer 8, I can add some slope glow, but maybe I can get away with using the like normal slope glow now. Then on layer 9, I can add like an outline to the 3D. If I rotate this, how will that work? Like, it's probably the dodgiest thing ever, but then if I shift this down and then I can make that black. I guess I don't need like these right here to be half opacity, and then I can put some like half spikes just sticking out of the side like this. Maybe it's an alright design. It's very simple, but I think with like some more complicated stuff that I'll add later on, it won't be that big of a deal. So yeah, I think I'll just go and put this on all of the slope structures. And while I'm filling in the block design, I'll just humbly ask you to please subscribe. We're only 100 subs away from 3,000 subscribers, so I think we can hit it before November. But let's get back to me remaking Firewall. So that didn't really take that long, as there's like 4 structures here. This looks decent, I guess. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. I guess I can begin with a sort of foreground for the part. I want this part to have a lot of intensity, so yeah. Let's say I'll do something similar to the Crimson Clutter part, where I'll use like these ground spikes. I don't think it should be hued that much, though. Yeah, maybe something like this. Give it some glow behind it. I might have made the foreground look a little bit too much like ground spikes, so if you died to that from 0, then I'm sorry. And then just give this group 15. When I was redesigning this part right here, there was a lot of groups that I deleted, so that's why there's so many new, very like low new groups. Now I don't want to make this be ground spikes, so I'll remove the collision on these and then also extend these to pretty much the end of the parts. Okay, what I want to do, I want to link the bottom row together and I want to link the top together. And what I want to do, I want to like move these at the same speed as like the boundaries for the parts. As you go into this ball part, it'll kind of move down like 3 blocks pretty fast. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm hoping that does. I try to make it as accurate as possible. I gotta move this up a little bit. Something else that I want to add is like in between all of this, let's say on like pretty high T1, I want to have some of these saw blades. They'll be stagnant and then a bounce out movement. I wanted to do something similar to these saw blades in Glorious Fortress, as I feel like they added a lot of intensity to the part. I'll probably add some sparkles to them later on, but for now they're just staying as this. So something like this, and then I'll add some glow to it as well. I gotta kind of like strategically find where I should like place these. How will this work? What if I make these like T3 instead? Yeah, that's way better. The foreground was clashing with the saw blades a little bit, which was pretty annoying, but luckily I fixed that problem. Now I want there to be some more intensity to this, so maybe I can add like an overlay above all of this. You can call what I'm adding now some RTX to the part, and I feel like that's a good depiction of what this actually is. I added both a blending screen and a lot of blending glow, and I made them pulse on and off just to make the part feel even more intense. This is probably a little bit too much copy and paste though. Actually, it's not really that bad. So now I need to see how much do I have to move this. I think that's good. What if I make it so that the overlay pulses? Having it so the group 100 and I think it was 119. Make that just have like a pulse. Yeah, then maybe 118 can also pulse. I think that works, yeah. Yeah, that's good, that's good. I really like that. Nice. I kind of want to add like a lot of color changes to this. So I'll make it so that this gradient is like touch triggered. Also put this at the beginning of the part. Like this, yeah. For the color changes, I went through a lot of different colors, and I really like that, as the original novel also did that. Let's see, how does the part flow with these color changes? Yeah, that's good, I like that. Now I kind of want to add like a sort of custom background. I think something like this could work. Like maybe this thing could work, or maybe not. Even though I have this as a custom object, I've never used it before, and I've only had it as a sort of backup background in case I don't have any ideas for anything else. And then on layer 15, I want to add like a sort of middle thing. So let's say I'll use these objects. How would those work? If I make all of this like object colored, I guess, or let's say all of this color 1. Make the outline have less saturation, more brightness. And then I guess I can use these crystallized objects again. Give them like plus 100 hue, like this much maybe. And then what if I copy these and then scale them down on top of themselves? Yeah, that maybe. What if I rotate it like 45 degrees? What if I add these objects to the side of the design? Copy this, half space that, and put it on the other side as well. Okay, we are getting somewhere with this. What if I add some like glow lasers to this? Give it just like the blending color, but also like shrink it down. And then, will it be better if I put it on both sides or just on one side? I think both sides could work here, yeah. I then copied and pasted the pillars and gave them some slight upwards movement, and I'm actually a pretty huge fan of these pillars, even though they are pretty unoptimized. Maybe I can add some like rotating objects behind the structures. The final things that I'll do now is come up with a block design for like these other things, these other structures, and then a spike design, and maybe that's it. For this block design, I'll begin by, of course, adding the outlines, like this. I can try to just like make a design that's pretty much the design for the slopes, but for the normal objects. So let's see if that will work. In all honesty, that actually looks pretty cool, yeah? So I think I'll just apply that to pretty much the rest of these structures. I'll add some more structures here as well. After adding some more structures, I began with the spike design where I did a lot of interesting stuff. Now what I'll do is work on the spike design, and what I want to do is I don't want to just like take the spike design from the windy landscape part. I'll just like use it as a reference and do something similar to it. It looks fine all by itself, but I feel like I want something more to it. What if I had 3D to it? Okay, I was hoping that it would work, but I guess it didn't. Well, what I can do instead is just like behind it put like a fake spike, like that here. What if I put like a spike at the bottom here, like this, that's just entirely black? And then scale it down so it's like here. Ooh, that's interesting. Gives like a sort of frailed look to the spikes. But after looking at the object count, I decided against that. The frails make the design feel a bit too complicated and a bit too messy. So maybe I'll just do this instead. And then I just copy and paste the spikes throughout the part, which isn't really that interesting to watch. And then I began with the saw blade design, which took so little time that I'll just let it play out all by itself. Let's say I'll begin by doing a normal saw blade. Actually, maybe it can be this saw blade. Copy it, rotate that, scale it down, and make it so the outer one. And make it so the outer one has blending colors. And then even below that, I'll place this saw blade. Make that also have a blending inside, but make that be like way darker and have some hue to it. And then just give it some black inner outlines. Then I can add some black glow to section this off. Use like these objects as I did in the 9 circles level, but make that have like way lower brightness. And after copy and pasting the saw blades, I began with the final addition to the part. Pretty much what I gotta do now is just fill in this block design to all of the structures that are left in this part. And once that's done, we are finished with the part. So yeah, let's just skip to that. Alright, so the block design is filled in and the part is actually very close to done. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the final thing to do now is of course add the names of the members of my channel to the part. Thank you so much to my members Destinity, Ghost Zan, RSD621, Kofo, Zoshaluko, Felmix9, Wowzy, HFizks, and Malachad. Thank you so much for watching this video, and let's just get to the final showcase of the level. And one final thing, I've uploaded another poll for you guys to vote on what level I should do next. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.